Hello students. So on Friday you saw a video of this chapter, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by William Saron. It is the first chapter of snapshots, and now let's begin explanation. One day back there in the good old days when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence, beauty, and life was still a delightful, happy, and mysterious dream full of mysteries. My cousin Murad, who was considered crazy by everybody who knew him except me, came to my house at 4 in the morning and woke me up, knocking on the window of my room. Tapping is knocking with the help of your palm. So, as we discussed, the narrator of this chapter is Aram. So, this para is by Aram. He said that once in the good old days, when he was just 9 years old, and he could imagine about the world, all the kind of beauties, and one day he was aroused by his cousin Murad at 4 in the morning. Aram, he said, I jumped out of bed and looked out of the window. I could not believe what I saw. It wasn't morning yet, it's 4 in the morning, so the sun was not risen, it was not properly light morning, but it was summer, and with daybreak, not many minutes around the corner of the world, it was light enough for me to know I wasn't dreaming. When he saw outside, when he was called by Murad, he looked out of the window and he saw something which was unbelievable for him. But it was enough light for him to realize that he wasn't dreaming. So let's see what he saw. He saw that his cousin Murad, was sitting on a beautiful white horse. I stuck my head out of the window and rubbed my eyes. When do we rub our eyes generally? When we get up in the morning, or we get up from our sleep, or we rub our eyes when we are not able to believe on something. So he rubbed his eyes. Yes, he said in Armenian, it's a horse. You're not dreaming. Make it quick if you want to ride. So Murad was sitting on a horse and he was inviting Aram if he wanted to have a ride. I knew my cousin Murad enjoyed being alive more than anybody else. So Murad was a boy who enjoyed his life more than anybody else who had ever fallen into this world by mistake. But this was more than even I could believe. But having a horse, Murad was having a horse, it was unbelievable for Aram. Why? We are going to have two reasons for that. In the first place, my earliest memories had been memories of horses, and my first longings had been longings to ride. So, since he has got into his senses, he wanted to have a ride. And when you are dreaming for something for a long time and suddenly that thing comes before you, it's very hard for you to believe that your dream is really coming true. That is the reason it was hard to believe. But this was the wonderful part. But in the second place, we were poor. Means we could not afford a horse. So that was unbelievable for him. This was the part that would not permit me to believe what I saw. He could see the horse in front of him, but because of poverty, he could not believe. We were poor, we had no money, our whole tribe was poverty stricken. Every branch, means every caste, of the Garoglananian, means it is their tribe. Garoglananian is their tribe name. Family was living in the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. So, a most amazing and comical poverty in the world. Let's see how it was comical poverty. Nobody could understand where we ever got money enough to keep us with food in our bellies. They were so poor that nobody could believe that they would be able to have food in the day. But they had. Nor even the old men of the family. They also did not know how are they arranging the food for them. How could they afford the food? But they were getting it. Most important of all, though we were famous for our honesty, most important thing, although they were poor but they were famous for honesty, see the contradictory qualities. It is very important for you to notice this, that although they were poor, but they were honest. We had been famous for our honesty for something like 11 centuries, even when we had been the wealthiest family in what we liked to think was the world. Means they used to live in a very small place before 11 centuries, and they were wealthiest family among all the families. At that time also they were honest, and now when they are amazingly poor, this time also they are very poor. Next line is important. We were proud first, honest next, and after that we believed in right and wrong. First they were proud on their honesty, second they were honest, and then they thought what is right or what is wrong. Honesty came even before logic for them. None of us would take advantage of anybody in the world, let alone steal. Means stealing is a faraway thing for them. They could not even take advantage of anybody. So they were so honest. Consequently, as a result, even though I could see the horse, so magnificent, so beautiful, even though I could smell it, so lovely, even though I could hear it breathing, so exciting, I could not believe the horse had anything to do with my cousin Murad, or with me, or with any of other members of our family, asleep or awake, because I knew my cousin Murad could not have bought the horse, and if he could not have bought it, he must have stolen it. And I refused to believe he had stolen it, because they were very popular since last 11 centuries. They were very honest. Stealing is not possible by any member of this tribe. So he could see the horse, he could smell the horse, he could hear the breathing of the horse, but still he could not understand how could Murad be able to have that horse. He could not afford it. It was clear they were very poor. Even eating for them was a very big task. But stealing could not be done by Murad, so he is very confused from where had Murad actually arranged the horse. No member of the Garoglananian family could be a thief. This was a belief in everybody's mind, including Aram. I stared first at my cousin and then at the horse, because he could not understand the combination. How could Murad be with the horse? There was a pious stillness and humor in each of them, which on the one hand delighted me and on the other frightened me. So both of them were looking purely still, and both were having some humor in their movements. But still, on one hand, he was very happy looking at the horse. It was his direst longing. But on the other hand, he was very afraid. He wanted to know from where had Murad arranged the horse. Murad, I said, where did you steal this horse? Directly, he used this word. Okay, directly he's using this word. Where did you steal this horse? Leap out of the window, he said, if you want to ride. See, Murad is not replying to Aram's question. Aram asked, where did you steal this horse? But Murad said, if you want to have a ride, leap out of the window, jump out of the window. He's not answering. So maybe he had stolen the horse and he had actually spoiled the image of the whole Garoglananian family's honesty, which was there since last 11 centuries. It was true then. He had stolen the horse. Aram also concluded. There was no question about it. He had come to invite me to ride or not as I chose. So Murad had come to invite Aram if he wanted to have a ride or not, and it could be Aram's choice. See the dilemma. On one hand, Aram was dreaming of having a horse ride since he came into his senses, and second, he actually cared for the honesty of the family. So let's see what he decides. Well, it seemed to me stealing a horse for a ride was not the same thing as stealing something else, such as money. So he himself is giving excuse to himself on. He said that we are not stealing the horse for selling purpose. We are not stealing the horse for money. We are stealing the horse just for a ride. So it's not like stealing. So he has changed the definition of stealing as per his own wish. For all I knew, maybe it wasn't stealing at all. So he says that for a ride, if he had stolen the horse, no, it's not like a stealing. He thought so. If you were crazy about horses, the way my cousin Murad and I were, it wasn't stealing. So he's changing the definition of stealing with the desire of horse riding in Murad and Aram's hearts. So he said we were so excited for horse riding that it could not be a stealing. It would not become stealing until we offered to sell the horse. Further, he is actually clarifying the situation to himself that they were not going to offer it for sale. So it's not a stealing, which of course I knew we would never do. Means we would never sell this horse. Let me put on some clothes, I said. Aram was actually ready to go and have a ride, so he demanded some time to put on clothes. All right, he said, but hurry. I leaped into my clothes, so he hurriedly wore his clothes. I jumped down to the yard from the window. He did not go from the door. I jumped down to the yard from the window and leaped up onto the horse behind my cousin Murad. So the complete control of the horse was in Murad's hand by now. That year, we lived at the edge of town on Walnut Avenue. So every year they changed their town because wherever they find some food, they could pitch their tents there. They were having temporary kind of houses. Behind our house was the country, vineyards, orchards, irrigation ditches, and country roads. In less than 3 minutes, we were on Olive Avenue. So they came a little bit far from their Walnut Avenue, and then the horse began to trot, trot, chop. The air was new and lovely to breathe. The feel of the horse running was wonderful. My cousin Murad, who was considered one of the craziest members of our family, began to sing. He was a crazy person. So he was happy, he started singing. I mean, he began to roar. Is here actually comparing his singing to roaring because he did not sing in a good way. It was like roaring. Every family has a crazy streak in it somewhere, and my cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of the crazy streak in our tribe. So they were having a crazy member before Murad. Before him was our uncle Khusro, an enormous, huge man with a powerful head of black hair and the largest mustache in the San Joaquin Valley. A man so furious in temper, so irritable, so impatient that he stopped anyone from talking by roaring. It's no harm, pay no attention to it. So this person, Uncle Khusro, was very impatient, irritable, short-tempered, that he did not like anybody talking. Whenever anybody started saying something, he would say, "It's no harm, pay no attention to it," and he silenced everyone. So let's see here. You can see number 2 at this San Joaquin Valley. So let's see what kind of information we get at the end of the page. It is one of the long interior valleys of California. That was all. No matter what anybody happened to be talking about, once it was his own son Arak running 8 blocks to the barber shop where his father was having his mustache trimmed to tell him their house was on fire. This man Khusrov sat up in the chair and roared, "It's no harm, pay no attention to it." It was his habit, it was his pet dialogue to everything. As we discussed in the video, this incident too, Eric, Uncle Khusrov's son, came to tell his father that the house was on fire, but he did not like anybody talking. Although his son was speaking about his house, but he did not listen to it. He was not in the habit of listening to people. He was just able to speak his pet dialogue. He did not want anybody to talk to, and he said, "It's no harm, pay no attention to it." His own house was on fire, and he said, "It's no harm, pay no attention to the burning house." Actually, he had not listened to it. The barber said, "But the boy says your house is on fire." So barber actually repeated his son's words, but he again said, he roared. So Khusrov roared, "Enough, it's no harm, I say." He again did not pay any heed to this. My cousin Murad was considered the natural descendant of this man. So everybody thought that Murad is just like Uncle Khusro. Although Murad's father was Zorab, who was practical and nothing else. His father was a very practical person. That's how it was in our tribe. A man could be the father of his son's flesh, but that did not mean that he was also the father of his spirit. This line is very important. It means a son can be like his father appearance wise, skin wise, flesh wise, but spirit wise, the father and son are not necessarily same. Okay, like Murad was not like his father, he was like his uncle, spirit wise. The distribution of the various kinds of spirit of our tribe had been from the beginning capricious and vagrant. Capricious, you can say deceptive, which are different in appearance and different from inside wise. Vagrant means full of energy. We rode, and my cousin Murad sang, for all anybody knew, we were still in the old country. So Murad was singing, but everybody who was sleeping, Aram's parents and Murad's parents, they actually thought that their children were sleeping. They could not believe that their children had now gone for a horse ride. So he said, for all anybody knew, we were still in the old country, where at least according to some of our neighbors we belonged, we let the horse run as long as it felt like running. So they came out of their area and they let the horse run as long as it felt like running. It's very important. Feel like means when you have desire to do something, you can use these words. Like, I feel like sleeping in the present tense. I felt like sleeping at noon, past wise. Okay. So horse felt like running. So जितना उसका मन किया, it kept on running. At last my cousin Murad said, get down, I want to ride alone. Now Murad said Aram to get down and he wanted to ride alone. Will you let me ride alone? I asked. Before coming down, Aram, whose direst desire was this, he also asked, will you let me to ride alone? Will you let me ride alone? That is up to the horse, my cousin said. Get down. So he said, if horse would like to, you can. The horse will let me ride, I said. Aram said, okay, horse will be agreed. We shall see, he said. Don't forget that I have a way with horse. As we discussed it earlier also, I have a way with means I have understanding with horses. It is Murad's pet dialogue. He says it for everything. I have a way with doors, I have a way with sparrows, I have a way with horses, I have a way with farmers. He says it for everyone. So this time he said, I have a way with the horse. Well, I said, anyway, you have with the horse, I have also. So Aram said, if you have any way with the horse, I have also that understanding. So you just have a ride and then I will go and have a ride alone. For the sake of your safety, he said, let's hope so. Murad said, for your safety, I also wish that horse lets you have a ride. Get down. All right, I said, but remember, you have got to let me try to ride alone. Again, Aram again he says him to let him ride alone when once he is finished. I got down and my cousin Murad kicked his heels like it is the way to start a horse, kicking into its heels. So I go down and my cousin Murad kicked his heels into the horse and shouted, Wazire, it's the kind of name, run. The horse stood on its hind legs, back legs, snorted, sound of the horse, and burst into a fury of speed. Very furious speed, very fast speed, it started running. That was the loveliest thing. See the horse. That was the loveliest thing I had ever seen. For Aram, looking horse so closely running was like a beautiful thing. My cousin Murad raced the horse across a field of dry grass to an irrigation ditch, crossed the ditch on the horse, and 5 minutes later returned dripping wet. So this was Murad's ride. Okay, he went to a field of dry grass, then he went to an irrigation ditch, then he crossed the ditch on the horse, and then 5 minutes later he came back. As he crossed a ditch, he was dripping wet. The sun was coming up. Now it's my turn to ride, I said. Okay, my cousin Murad got off the horse. Ride, he said. He said, okay, go and have a ride. So tomorrow we'll see what is the experience of Aram when he's riding. I'm going to send you an assignment related to questions which we about the text which we have read today. Do not forget to send me the answers. Have a good day. Take care.